Enough Allah. So in first half we spoke about the PHP forms and also how to send data and receive data using the form, using the post super global. So I request you once again, learn about super globals, the uses of them, and how we can use the post and get data. So the next thing is the difference between post and get. The difference between ghost and get. So one of the most things that we use the post is that for sensitivity of data. Sometimes we need to send sensitive data like passwords, account numbers, credit card numbers, or others. On that time, we need to use the post because the post will not show our data in our URL section of our browser. So the post will send in back backstage or in behind the scenes. So think security when processing PHP forms. Think security when processing PHP forms. This page does not contain any form validation. It just shows how you can send and retrieve form data. However, the next page will show you the process for PHP forms with security in mind. What it means that we are not validating any data here. We are not validating our data. But in here, as we work it on practice, we validate it as if the submit button is selected. Click it. Then do this action. Insert some data to my table. If not, it will not do anything. And also with this validation that if data save it, show me something. If not, show me the error. So the same way, we do some data validations will come on in. But firstly, what's get and why and what's post? Both of them are super globals. Both of them are super globals. We are using them for creating arrays, associative arrays. So both get and post create an array. This array holds key and value pairs. What are key and values? As we say with that, this is the key. This is the key. We are receiving the key from here. The key is this one. The value that we are sending using this form. So this is the value we are sending, but behind the scenes, the key gets the value. Behind the scenes, the key gets the value. And using the key, we store that value in our database. If you check, now we have three records in database. These are the values. The ID, name, and last name are the keys. In associative array, as we said, we are storing some records using the key and value pairs. So the same way, this get and post both creates an associative array and pair of value and keys. So what the difference between them? Both and gets created as $get and $post. We use the same way, not with lowercase, not with different cases. $sign underscore get, $sign underscore post with uppercase only, not lowercase. Lowercase will not work because they are super globals and they are constants. They are constants. So, which means that they are always accessible regardless of scope and you can access them from any function, class or file without having to do anything special. So what it means that we say that they are super globals. What it means that you can access them everywhere without including anything, without recursing something. Anywhere you can call them and you can use them. Why? Because they are super globals. And super global sections, as I said to you as a homework, you must know this and the function of those. So get is an array of variables passed to the current script by the URL parameters. So if the starting of the session, we said that when you're submitting this, the data will be shown in here. We saw them. But in post, the array of variables passed to the current script of HTTP post method. They get using the URL parameters, but the post using the HTTP post method. What it means, we are in post, we are sending data in a hidden way. But in GET, we are sending data in a shown way or using the URL. Data you are sending, the keys and values are visible on the URL part. But in post, we don't have them. So when to use GET? When we need to use the GET. Information sent from a form with the GET method is visible to everyone. All variables, names, and values are displayed in the URL. GET also has limits on the amount of information to send. The limitation is about 2000 characters. So we have a limitation in get. That's around 2000 characters. We can't send over 2000 characters using the get method. However, because the variables are displayed in the URL, it's possible to bookmark the page. This can be useful in some cases. So sometime we need to send our data and we need to bookmark them like this. This is a get method. See, route SQL DB. The DB variable has class project. The table variable has test table. The position has a 0. This is a get method. In PHP if you see, we have a route variable that has the SQL, and also we have a DB variable that has a class project, and also we have a table variable that has a test table, and also have position variable that has 0. If this sends trap the post method, then we will not see these parameters. As we do here, I am sending this new data, save. Now I am receiving only save successfully without any parameters. Without any parameters. If I do this one to get, now the parameters with the values will be visible on the URL section using the variables. Let's see at main with the data save. Now if you see, we didn't do anything, but we got the name at main, the last name, date, data, and the submit, nothing. The submit, nothing. Why? Because gets. It's the get variable. The data is visible, and you can also use the get to show the data on the form. So the difference is that the get data sends data visible to everyone and also has some limitations. But the post one will not be visible to everyone, and also there is no limitations in get method. So get should never be used for sending passwords or other sensitive information. When you are sending passwords, sending credit cards, or sending some sensitive information, you should not use the get method. Then we have the post. Information sent from the post method invisible to others. All names values are embedded within the body of the HTTP request. So if I'm sending using the post method now, let me do this one, save. I sent this. Yeah. When I go here in console in network section, and when I do this, let me see and save. Here I sent another page data. So I have some data here that are not shown, not visible to me. But there I have a request. I have a request in here that sends my data without seeing the data here. Without seeing the data. And also the my PHP codes are not visible in PHP HTML section of my browser. So data are the invisible to everyone, and also we have some requests, non breakpoints and others. You can check them if you are working on with, sorry, the JavaScript. And this information will be visible on there with information that we have sent. So difference is that post is visible, invisible, get is visible to everyone. So post is better. For what? For sending passwords and sensitive information. Get is not suggested, not recommended when using the sending data. So post is invisible. Why? Because we send trap HTTP request instead of URL. Instead of URL, we are sending trap HTTP requests and has no limits. Yeah, post is better and has low limitations. Then there's no limit of characters when sending using the post method. Moreover, post supports advanced functionalities such as support for multi-port binary input while uploading files to server. While you are uploading some data, on that time you can use the post. Let's examine this also, how we can post. For sending data like images, videos, or documents and HTML forms, we need to activate one port. That is the form type. Right, it's form. So that was a multi-port form. Any type. Sorry, I forgot that. That's any type multi-port. multi-port form data. Multi-port form data. For sending the images, videos, or others. We need to activate one more port in the form section. That's enc type with multi-port form data. Then we need to have a image section. We need to have a image section. Yeah, recording in progress. Bun. فهمیده که ما در اداره چای ناوردیم چای آورده. So we need to add. So your question? Yeah. Sometimes we need to some images like when you are uploading some, you're registering some websites, they require a photo, yeah, or they require your CV, or they require your Taskira, yeah. On that time, we need to activate one more thing to our form. What is that? Any type multi-port form data. Any type with the value of multi-port form data. This will allow us to send images. So how we can process that in PHP? That's simple, easy. Just we need to have a file or an image type. So how we can achieve that? First, we need to have a div with form group. So this is for Bootstrap. If you are working with Tailwind, that will be something else. We need to define a label, image, image. Then we need to have a input type of file. Input type of file with name of image and ID of image also. With and no any other information. We can have a class also. Sorry? The same way we can do it in here. You can just rename that to image something else. And also we'll come on validations, how to restrict only to specific file types. On next session we'll come on this also. So today we'll just upload this. I need to control this. The form control data type, class type. So let's see the difference now. Let's save it. Now we have a, oh, it must be before the this one. Now we have a choose file. Now we need to choose a file. If I choose a file, maybe something that's with the lower space, like this data. Now my image will not send everywhere. Just it will save me data. Nothing will happen here. Nothing will happen here. I need to reconstruct this one. Reconstruct this one and add another column of the last name. That should be image and the type should be text. Save. If you are storing the image on the database, that's not recommended. You can store the address of that image. If you are planning to store that, then you need to choose the blob data type, not the text. You must choose the blob data type. How? Come here and use the blob data type. Find that there's a blob. You can store this using the binary. Binary large object. Binary large object or blob or something like that. So let's complete this section. So I have a table with some data. There's no image. So how I can upload this image? Now I have image. Come to our save.php. Here we need to use the another super global. You need to use another super global. That's the super global is. Let's choose a variable image. Now we have a files and dollar files. We have a files. Now, firstly, file. Second one, the image. What? The image. Another thing we have, sorry, this one should be the name, I think. The another is the temp. The temp should be dollar files. Temp name. Temp name and then our image. So